The Kansas City Chiefs suddenly find themselves in one of the most fascinating quarterback situations in the entire NFL, and everything revolves around one massive question that could define not only the start of the 2026 season, but possibly the direction of the entire franchise moving forward. Who will be under center in Week 1? For most teams around the league, quarterback uncertainty is a normal part of life. Franchises spend years trying to find stability at the position, constantly searching for the right answer. But for Kansas City, this kind of uncertainty feels almost unreal. For years, the answer has been automatic, simple, and unquestioned: Patrick Mahomes. He is not just the starting quarterback. He is the face of the franchise, the identity of the organization, the player who transformed Kansas City into a dynasty-level contender. He is the reason every season begins with Super Bowl expectations. He is the standard. Normally, if Mahomes is on the roster, there is no quarterback conversation. There is no debate, no controversy, and no discussion. He plays, and everyone else falls in line behind him. But this season is different, and one single word changes everything: health. Patrick Mahomes is coming off one of the most serious injuries of his entire career, suffering a torn ACL and LCL late in the 2025 season, an injury that instantly changed the outlook of the Chiefs' offseason and forced the organization to confront a reality they had not seriously faced in years. For a player whose greatness is built not only on arm talent but also on movement, creativity, and the ability to make impossible plays outside of structure, a major knee injury is not something that can simply be brushed aside. This is not a minor issue. This is not a 2-week recovery. This is the kind of injury that can impact careers, alter timelines, and force even the most powerful teams in football to rethink everything. The timing made it even worse. Mahomes suffered the injury late enough in the year that the recovery clock immediately became a major concern. A torn ACL by itself is already serious. Add LCL damage on top of that, and the recovery process becomes even more complicated. In many cases, players need close to a full year before they feel fully like themselves again, and even then, returning physically does not always mean returning mentally. Trusting the knee again is its own battle. Mahomes, of course, is built differently. Few players in the league attack rehab the way he does. His competitiveness is legendary. His obsession with returning stronger is well known. He has made it clear that his goal is to be ready for Week 1, and nobody should doubt his willingness to do everything possible to make that happen. But even Mahomes himself admitted the truth that everyone in Kansas City understands: there are no guarantees. That single reality changes everything. Because for the first time in years, the Chiefs have to seriously prepare for the possibility that Patrick Mahomes may not be ready to start the regular season. That possibility alone changes the entire conversation around the team. It changes training camp. It changes preseason. It changes the draft. It changes free agency. It changes every decision the front office makes. And that is exactly why the Chiefs made one of the most intriguing moves of the offseason when they went out and signed Justin Fields. At first glance, it seemed like a smart, logical veteran backup move. Fields is a former first-round pick, a player with starting experience, elite athletic ability, and enough upside to justify the gamble. Reports suggested that Fields specifically wanted this opportunity. He wanted to learn under Mahomes. He wanted to play for Andy Reid. He wanted to be in an environment where he could rebuild his career, reset the narrative around his name, and potentially unlock the version of himself many believed was possible when he entered the league. That sounds great, but let's be honest here: Justin Fields did not come to Kansas City just to hold a clipboard and smile on the sideline. The Chiefs did not bring him in for ceremonial backup duties. They did not sign him just to run preseason drives or appear in trick packages. They brought him in because they needed real insurance. Legitimate insurance. The kind of quarterback who can actually start games and keep a season alive if Mahomes needs more time. If Week 1 arrived tomorrow and Patrick Mahomes was not medically cleared to play, Justin Fields would be the starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. No debate. No confusion. No competition. Fields is QB2, but more importantly, he is the bridge between uncertainty and survival. That makes him one of the most fascinating backup quarterbacks in the entire NFL. Because unlike many backup quarterbacks who are simply asked to avoid mistakes and not ruin games, Fields brings something completely different. He changes the identity of the offense. He changes the structure. He changes how defenses prepare. Patrick Mahomes is built around improvisation, elite arm talent, vision, timing, and genius-level processing. Justin Fields brings something else entirely: explosive mobility, designed quarterback runs, zone read concepts, RPO pressure, and true rushing threat from the quarterback position. He is not Mahomes, and nobody expects him to be. But he offers something unique. Defenses cannot treat him like a normal backup. His running ability alone changes the math on every snap. Edge defenders must stay disciplined. Linebackers cannot overcommit. Defensive coordinators must account for quarterback movement in ways they normally would not against Kansas City. Andy Reid is one of the greatest offensive minds in football history, and the idea of him designing packages, or even a temporary offense, around Justin Fields is incredibly intriguing. Suddenly, Kansas City becomes a different kind of dangerous. That is why this is not just a normal backup quarterback situation. This is a legitimate storyline that could shape the entire season. Because if Fields starts early and performs well, something very interesting could happen: conversation. Real conversation. The kind that would have sounded insane a year ago. Imagine Justin Fields starting the first 4 games and leading Kansas City to a 3-1 record while Mahomes continues his recovery. Imagine the offense looking explosive in a different way, with designed quarterback runs and a more unpredictable rushing attack. Imagine the national media asking if the Chiefs should take things slow with Mahomes. Imagine every press conference turning into a quarterback controversy discussion. Now let's be clear, Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. There is no true quarterback competition if he is healthy. None. Zero. If Mahomes is ready, he plays. End of story. But football is emotional. It is reactive. It is built on momentum and headlines. If Fields plays well enough, the noise becomes impossible to ignore, even if internally the Chiefs never change their answer. That possibility alone makes him one of the most important players on the roster. Then there is Garrett Nussmeier, quietly sitting behind both of them and adding another fascinating layer to the quarterback room. The 7th-round rookie may not be dominating national headlines right now, but he is not just a throwaway late-round flyer either. Nussmeier is talented. Very talented. At one point, many evaluators believed he could be drafted much earlier. He threw for over 4,000 yards in college, showing high-level arm talent, confidence, aggression, and the willingness to challenge defenses vertically. He looked like a player who could eventually become an NFL starter. But injuries changed everything. Concerns about durability, consistency, and long-term projection caused his draft stock to collapse, and what once looked like a mid-round or even higher selection turned into a 7th-round opportunity. That creates a very interesting dynamic. He arrives with late-round status but starter-level flashes. Kansas City saw that and decided the value was too good to ignore. Still, expectations must remain realistic. Garrett Nussmeier is not starting Week 1. He is not competing with Justin Fields for QB2. He is not part of an immediate battle for snaps. Right now, he is QB3 at best, and honestly, that is exactly where he should be. This year is about development. This is a redshirt season. A learning year. A survival year. His job is not to win the starting role. His job is to absorb everything possible from one of the greatest quarterbacks of this generation and one of the greatest offensive coaches the NFL has ever seen. There may not be a better quarterback classroom in football than sitting behind Patrick Mahomes and learning from Andy Reid every single day. Nussmeier's job is simple: survive camp, secure a roster spot, earn trust, and show the organization that he belongs in the long-term conversation. Anything beyond that is a bonus. But quarterback rooms change quickly in the NFL. Injuries happen. Trades happen. Opportunities appear without warning. Careers are often changed by moments nobody sees coming. That is why even a seventh-round quarterback matters. Because if Nussmeier develops correctly, Kansas City could eventually have something incredibly valuable, a cheap, reliable long-term backup, or even a future trade asset. For a franchise carrying a massive salary cap commitment around Mahomes' contract, finding value at quarterback matters more than people realize. So what is the real answer to the Week 1 question? In truth, it is still remarkably simple. If Patrick Mahomes is healthy, even if he is only 90%, he starts. Immediately. No debate. No hesitation. No manufactured drama. He is the franchise. He is the engine. He is the reason the Chiefs believe every single season can end with a Lombardi trophy. But if he is not ready, the answer becomes Justin Fields, and honestly, Kansas City should feel far better about that than most teams would in a similar situation. Fields is not a desperation backup. He is a legitimate NFL starter with real upside, real experience, and a real chance to thrive in Andy Reid's system. He gives Kansas City flexibility. He gives them stability. He gives them a legitimate chance to survive the opening stretch of the season if Mahomes needs more time. And if somehow both of those options fail, if Mahomes cannot go and Fields is unavailable or ineffective, then the Chiefs have much bigger problems than quarterback depth. Then something has gone very, very wrong. What makes this entire situation so compelling is that Kansas City did not simply add depth this offseason. They added protection. They added insurance. They added strategic flexibility. And perhaps most importantly, they added one of the most compelling storylines in the entire NFL heading into 2026. Because for the first time in years, there is real uncertainty at the most important position in sports. There is a real question. There is suspense. There is vulnerability. For a franchise that has spent years looking nearly untouchable with Mahomes under center, that uncertainty changes everything. It makes training camp more important. It makes preseason matter again. It makes every Mahomes rehab update feel like national news. It makes Justin Fields one of the most watched backup quarterbacks in football. It makes Garrett Nussmeier a developmental name fans will quietly track all year. And it makes the Kansas City Chiefs one of the most fascinating teams in the league before the season has even started. Because dynasties are not tested when everything is easy. They are tested when adversity arrives. They are tested when uncertainty enters the room. And right now, uncertainty has absolutely arrived in Kansas City. That is exactly why this quarterback situation has become must-watch television for the entire NFL world. Every throw in camp will matter. Every Mahomes update will matter. Every Justin Fields preseason snap will matter. Every Garrett Nussmeier report will matter. Because for the first time in a long time, the biggest storyline in Kansas City is not just how far Patrick Mahomes can take them, it is whether he will be the one leading them when the season begins at all. And that question alone could define everything. Now it's up to you, Chiefs fans. What do you think will happen to the Chiefs quarterbacks in the future? Thanks for watching and see you next time.